Welcome back to the channel. Listen, this is ManUTD Central. We're going to jump into Ugarte, McTominay, right? We're going to talk about the left back situation. What is going on at Manchester United, right? Apparently, PSG, they're trying to offer us something different when it comes to Manuel Ugarte because they know we want Ugarte, right? And they want Ugarte out. So, what is that deal we're going to talk about? We're going to also talk about McTominay. What's his future? Where is he going to go? Because listen, when it comes to value in our team, McTominay is one of those players that has value, and we can offload him and bring in the much needed funds into our team, right? And also, we're going to talk about apparently there's a new plan when it comes to the left back situation. We know we need a left back, but apparently there could be a new plan when it comes to left back at Manchester United. This is all was reported by Laurie Whitwell. Guys, welcome. If you haven't done so, smash a like, hit that subscribe. This is ManUTD Central. I'm your boy Luther. Let's jump into it. All right, let's take it from the top. Ugarte, where are we? All right, so the update is this. PSG have offered Manchester United the chance to sign Manuel Ugarte on a season-long loan with an obligation to buy, right? United would prefer to buy Ugarte now, but there remains to be a gap in valuation of around 10 million, right? There's growing optimism and agreement will be struck, right? So here's the thing, okay? PSG, they're trying to they're trying to kind of like pull a smart one on us, right? Because PSG does not want to lose money when it comes to Ugarte. Their game plan is to get the 60 million, right? The 60 million that they paid for when they signed Ugarte from Sporting, right? So how do they do this? They know Manchester United, it's not like we have all this money to splash, right? And they also know that the new sporting group, the new decision makers at Manchester United, Ineos team, what it comprised of Barada, Ashworth, Wilcox, all of them, they're not going to be just saying, okay, we're going to give up and just chuck the money at the issue, right? Yes, the whole world knows that we want Ugarte. PSG knows we want Ugarte. PSG also know that they need to offload Ugarte. That way they can recoup some of the money they spent bringing in Jean Neves into the team, right? They have already put it outright to Ugarte that, listen, you're not part of our plans. You need to figure something out. So obviously, PSG does not want to keep an asset in the bench, come the end of the transfer window. When is the transfer window ending? Listen, we have less than 10 days, close to 10 days for the transfer window to shut. So PSG, right? They know they gotta come some kind of agreement. Now, the good thing is this: we have there's the super agent Jorge Mendes is in the middle of this whole thing going on, right? Jorge Mendes had just completed a deal to bring João Felix to Chelsea. So that deal was done. So now he can focus all his efforts in the Ugarte to Man United deal, right? And there's a huge belief out there that this deal could very well be finalized here soon, right? So what is PSG trying to do? So by giving this offer, the offer was PSG has offered Manchester United the chance to sign Manuel Ugarte, right, for a season long with an obligation to buy, but there's a gap in valuation, right, as I said, of 10 million. All right, so that gap in valuation. So basically, what's his name? PSG, they've already said, listen, they don't want to lose money. So what they're saying is this: Man United, don't worry, you don't have money now. You guys can have Ugarte and a season long with obligation to buy, but come end of next season, you guys want to pay the 60 million that we wanted, right? We don't want the 60 million now because I know you don't want it. You don't have 60 million, so we're going to give you the whole season for Man United to do the selling that you need to do, offload McTominay, sell Christian Eriksen, sell Hannibal Mejbri, sell Pilestri. That way you can have enough money. That way at the end of the next season, right, when the obligation to buy has kicked in now, you can cough up the 60 million. Man United is not going to do this, right? Man United is not going to pay 60 million for a player who PSG, they brought him from Sporting. They paid 60 million last year. So they're trying to recoup that. So obviously, Man United is not going to do this, right? And that because it would be ridiculous. Even if they agree to that deal, right? The whole world is watching us. They're watching Man United and this new Ineos group on how they conduct business. Because whatever decisions they make now is going to set a precedent, right? On how we proceed going forward. People, especially like as you're coming in, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe, all right? So what are they going to do? So Ineos, they want to pay maybe close to like 40 million for Ugarte, because obviously any asset, it depreciates after time. The PSG brought him from Sporting last year. They paid 60. Obviously after a year, obviously PSG does not want him, so the value should go down. So United, they're not going to sit here and try to pay full money for a player who the PSG don't want. And also United know, like, listen, worst case scenario, if we don't get Ugarte, he's going to be sitting on the bench because he's not part of Luis Enrique's PSG plan in that midfield, because they have João Neves, who's going to be starting. So if they decide to say, oh, we're not going to play ball, we're just going to keep Ugarte, he's just going to be sitting on the bench. Now, for a player like him to sit on the bench, the value is going to decrease because obviously he doesn't have football, right? So the value is going to decrease. So obviously PSG, they're not going to do that. Now, Man United is willing, to wait until the end, close to the end of the transfer window, to come up with a deal, right? So they're willing to wait. There's no rush to bring Ugarte in, because listen, luckily for us, Casemiro in the last couple of games, he's kind of looked okay, right? So that being said, this thing could very well go to the end of the transfer window, or in the next, we could probably get, here we go, from Fabrizio here in the next 48 hours or so, right? Because common sense will prevail, say PSG will be like, okay, you know what, enough is enough, we'll take the 42 million that Man United is offering, and call it a day. Because honestly, if you think about it, the same situation kind of happened to us when we signed Di Maria. We signed Di Maria from Real Madrid a couple of years, a few years ago. Was it about 5, 6, 7 years? I don't remember exactly. But we signed Di Maria from PSG, and then he didn't work out for us. We sold him to, not from PSG. We signed Di Maria from Real. He came to us. It didn't really work out. And then Man United sold Di Maria to PSG, right, for a cut price, right? I think we lost like 16 million, Man United, during that deal, right? So we got him from Real, came to Man United, it didn't work out. We needed to offload him to PSG, and then we agreed a deal with them, and we gave him a deal where Man United lost like close to 16 million. So this is something now United is like, listen, PSG, we have done this before with you guys, right? We gave you a good deal with Di Maria. It worked out for you guys. We took a hit, like a loss. So you guys need to reciprocate, with us and say, hey, you know what? This deal here, it's a good deal. Everybody's going to work out. Yes, PSG, you're going to get a little bit of a loss because obviously it's a year since you signed him from Sporting. So the player value is going to go down. There's no way you're going to get the full same amount. No, right? So Ineos, they're still negotiating. And the good thing is, Omar Barada, man, first of all, when he was at Man City, that's what he did. Whenever it came to deals, he had a set price for certain players, and you know what? They stuck with that price, and they've never missed their targets, right? Because they say, okay, this is a set price that we're willing to pay, and then when you go to negotiations, okay, I'm going to go only to this much, or this much, we're not going to go over, and if deals don't work out, you pull out, right? Just the way we did with the Brantwaite deal. Everton tried to pull our pants down, say, hey, we need 70 million. United were like, no, we're not going to do that game. We're not going to pay 70 million for Brantwaite. We're going to leave. And then boom, what did Ineos do? They brought in two. They let Mazraoui for combined close to 60 million, and also a potential in Lenny Yoro. Good money there, because Lenny Yoro is that next big star that, listen, with time, he's going to be the next Kylian Mbappe. People have been calling the next Kylian Mbappe of defense, right? So I trust what Ineos is doing. I trust their plan. I trust that we are not going to overpay for any player, because right now, anybody that we bring in, we're not going to give him crazy money, right? We're not going to pay over 250K, right? Of a player coming in. So that way, if it doesn't work, we won't have big problems offloading them. The way we are struggling right now when it comes to players like offloading players like Casemiro, players like Jadon Sancho, right? These players, we don't want them. Ideally, we want to offload them, but nobody can afford their salary. So it's crazy. So again, we're stuck with them. Casemiro, we thought there's going to be teams coming in from the Saudi league trying to get him. It doesn't look that way, right? So Casemiro most likely is going to stay. And so far, what we have seen, okay, he's trying to rediscover his old Casemiro from the first season when he came in, which is good. We hope that he continues that, because from what we've seen, like in that last game against Fulham, especially that pass to Bruno, that was nice, right? Now, so if he does most of that, he was very tenacious in that midfield, but again, he doesn't really have those legs, right? So if he gives us something close to what he did in the first season, you know what? It's going to be good, right? But we still need Ugarte in, right? Because Ugarte, what he brings to that midfield, it is defensive. Basically he can play defensive. He can play attacking. He can control that midfield. He's basically a number 6 who is a destroyer, because that's what we want, right? Imagine him playing at that number 6 Casemiro role, and then you have Lisandro Martinez in defense playing. Again, you have Lisandro Martinez in defense, who is a killer, and then you have Ugarte in the 6. Come on, man, straight up fire. Which that's what we want in our team going forward. All right, let's see what else we have going on. In outgoings, we see that Maxi Oyedele. I don't know if you guys remember him, young kid, academy graduate. He played very well in preseason. He looks like he could be on his way to Legia Warsaw. Again, him going out, it sucks that we're selling our young prospects, but we're really not getting a lot of money for them compared to how other teams are selling, like Man City. Man City have been able to sell their prospects, young players who haven't really done much. They've been able to sell them for crazy money. But for us, obviously, a player like Oyedele, we're not going to get much from him. But again, he's going to be out the door, right? It's going to be out the door, but it's good. What we've been doing is, which is pretty good, adding sell-on clause on all these players, like him leaving, and also we see that Facundo Pellistri is on his way. We got to hear from Bruno that Facundo Pellistri is on his way to Panathinaikos, right? Again, with him, we paid like 5 million for him. We're selling him close to like 8 million. So we're gonna make a little bit of profit there, but it's ridiculous because a player like Facundo Pellistri is a player that starts for Uruguay, right? But the way we do business, we haven't been able to really sell our players at a huge profit, because any team out there, especially in the bottom half of the Premier League, for a player like Facundo Pellistri, he's a really good winger, right? He can really do the job. But again, with United, we haven't really done really good business to allow us to sell players at a huge profit. Now, the players that we're bringing in now, yes, that's something that we could see in the future once Ineos is able to offload some of these mistakes of the past, which we are paying for now. right? So let's jump into another story. Another story is this, guys. Laurie Whitwell is reporting that there could be another. Before we get into the left back, there's also basically defensive plans, right? Man United, they still have Jared Brunthwaite in the back pocket. Definitely, they want this player, right? But they're willing, Ineos, they're willing to wait for at least 12 months. Next summer, he could be the target to bring in. So imagine the defensive powerhouse of, you have Jared Brunthwaite, you have Matthias de Ligt, you have Lenny Yoro, Lisandro Martinez. That is a good back four right there. And then you have Mazraoui, and then you can come in later, bring in a permanent left back, right? So talking about left back, what Ineos is trying to do, apparently this new plan is this. They're not going to look to bring in a left back this season. Now that's crazy, right? That is crazy because a lot of us, we know the big problem in our team is the left back, because you have two left back there, Luke Shaw and Terrell Malacia. These guys are injury, magnets, right? Terrell Malacia, luckily now he's slowly coming back into practicing. He's able to practice on the field, but of course he hasn't had any game time, right? He's slowly building up his strength. Luke Shaw, he's still a few weeks out, but again, even if Luke Shaw comes back, come on, most likely this guy is going to be injured again, right? So you would think, logic would think that this guy, you would think that he would be, we would think of bringing in another left back, but according to reports, it doesn't look that way, right? So what Ineos is saying, look, they have coverage. They have Mazraoui, they have Dalot, they can cover that side, that left side. Also, they have Lisandro Martinez, who can cover left back if needed, right? So we shall see if this plan will work. I think it's risky, right? It's risky, but that is their plan. But again, we have to trust them. But again, this plan is not always the best plan, because the best plans usually they can have you fail when it comes to this kind of situations, because you're gonna be caught in case we're hit by injuries. We need someone to cover, even if you bring in a free agent out there, but the free agent cannot be what's in there, Alonso, none of that. If we were to bring in the likes of maybe Sergio Region, I'll be cool, just to be on the safe side. But it looks like Ineos, they may not do that. Who knows? Things may change as we get close to the end of the transfer window, which is here very close. Let's jump into Scott McTominay, people. Napoli is interested in Scott McTominay. If they cannot sign him, basically they're interested. They want to get him, but they may want to get him on loan with the obligation to buy, right? But Manchester United, of course, they want at least 30 million for Scott McTominay. Manchester United, they want, if anything, they want to offload him completely to Napoli, not to do any of these loan deals for Scott McTominay, right? Now, Napoli, the issue with them is this: in order for them to cough up this money, they need to offload the likes of Osimhen. If they can offload Osimhen, then they can probably come in and pay the full 30 million that we want for Scott McTominay. And Scott McTominay likes the idea of going to play for with Conte, right, in Napoli. So again, that is good, because the reason that Scott didn't go to Fulham is because he wanted to weigh his options, right, to see, okay, what are the options out there, right? And he decided to kind of hold back to decide, and then Fulham was like, you know what, man, forget about it. We're gonna go to Sander Berge, and it is what it is. That's what happened. So now Scotty is still waiting. But again, the good thing is with Scott, there are options, which Napoli, Galatasaray, there's a few options out there that Scott can go, which is good for us, right? Let's see what else we got here going on. Of course, we already talked about the left back situation. Yeah, so basically, those are the main topics I wanted to jump in today. Obviously, Manchester United, we are, we're rolling in the right direction. And come, next week, we should have some of these deals resolved by then. We'll have some kind of knowledge of, hey, what is going on with our team? Who is here to stay? Jadon Sancho, is he going to stay? Is he going to leave? Right? Casemiro, is he going to stay? Is he going to leave? So far, it looks like both of them, they're going to stay because really there's not much traction going on with these two players. So we shall see. But I really think Scott McTominay may end up leaving. But again, Ineos, they pointed out, like, listen, if Scott McTominay will only leave if he wants to leave, right? If he decides, hey, I want to stay, then he's going to stay. They're not going to force him to leave, right? Ten Hag likes the idea of having him. So it's all up to Scott McTominay. If he decides, then he's going to leave. So we shall see. I hope Scott McTominay decides to roll, and that way he can get full-time football. That way he doesn't have to be coming off from the bench. He can definitely be a starter for a Napoli or a team in the Premier League lower half. He'll definitely be a starter. He can give you goals. He has value, right? So we shall see on that. And of course, the Ugarte deal. This thing, I can see it. It could happen tomorrow, or in the next 48 hours, or it could drag on until the end of the transfer window, which is not that long. It's only a week away. So we shall see. All in all, Ugarte is going to be a Manchester United player. I see it. You better believe it. He's going to be holding that shirt. He's going to be in that midfield for us. People, I appreciate you being here. Smash a like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow if you haven't done so. I'm your boy Luther, and this is Man United Central. It was a quick roundup for you. That way you're all caught up. I appreciate your being here. Peace out. Talk to you in the next one.